Hello, I'm Libby Manning, and I'm director of the Wabash Pastoral Leadership Program. And I'm here with Dr. Art Farnsley, director of the Religion and Urban Culture 2.0 and data evangelist for the Association of the Religion Data Archives. Art, it is so good to be here with you today.
Thanks very much, Libby. It's great to be here. As you know, I've been to every cohort of the Wabash Pastoral Leadership Program, something I'm quite proud of. I'm on my third director now of the WPLP. It's a great program, evidenced by the fact that there are now iterations of it in several other places too.
That's right. You're a great friend of the program, Art, and we're grateful for it. One of the goals of our program is to help early career pastors in Indiana expand and deepen their imagination and their understanding of their local context. Doing so opens up possibilities for ministry and expands their horizons for what is possible. Friends of the program like you, Art, help us achieve that goal by introducing us to really important resources. One such resource that I want to talk with you today um, and that you curate is the Association of Religion Data Archives. Tell us about that, Art, because our pastors love this.
Oh, well, sure. Well, it was originally called the American Religion Data Archives. It was founded 25 years ago by Roger Finke, who is a professor at Penn State University. And it began as a data repository. The funders out there pay for a lot of survey research, a lot of research on religion. Then they write their results and then it's kind of gone. And Roger had the good idea. There ought to be a place that when researchers are done with their data, it goes there. So think seed repository somewhere in Norway or Sweden or wherever it is. It's like that. We want that data to always be there and for people to be able to get to it. Over time, the funders for this project, the ARDA, were more interested than just having it be for college professors and researchers who would use survey data for academic purposes. And so they pushed us to develop more international resources. And that's why it's now called the Association of Religion Data Archives. It's very clearly not just American anymore. They pushed for more resources for journalists. They pushed for more resources for teachers other than professors, so for junior and senior high school teachers who might be interested in either teaching about religion or using religion in their history or their social studies courses. And then they were interested in congregational resources. So if you go to www.thearda.com, you'll see there are actually links: congregational resources, journalist resources, teaching resources, and you can go there and find the data packaged in a way that it would be most useful for you. I should say the two big funders of this have been the John Templeton Foundation and the Lilly Endowment. And as anybody listening to this probably knows, the Lilly Endowment has a deep heart for congregational resources. So their funding has led us to try to enhance those and to make them ever more user-friendly.
So on that point, Art, if I as a pastor move into a new community, or if I want to build a profile of the community I'm already serving to better understand it and its contexts, I could do that on thearda.com, right?
You could, and you would go to the Congregational Resource Center, and you would look for the very first question: what does the community around my congregation look like? And when you click that, you come to a tool we call, cleverly, Community Profile Builder, where you can build a profile of your community. Now, what's great is there is a significant, almost a small book worth of text that gives you step-by-step instructions. Truth is, for lots of people, it will be fairly intuitive. You enter a zip code, you enter a place name, and obviously this differs. If you put Indianapolis, Well, the first thing that's going to come up is a map with 1,000 congregations on it. If you put Liston, Indiana, you might get a map with 10. I don't really know how many congregations are in Liston. Then you could find your congregation, click on it, and develop that as the center. Then you can pick a radius, 1/10 of a mile, all the way up to, I think, 25 miles. Click on that, and it will build a profile based mostly on census data, and you can learn things about housing patterns, about racial and ethnic change, about income, about education. There's a number of variables, and we know that people pay good money for these kind of planning tools. This provides that. Now, I need to say, because I always want to say this, that tool actually resides on the Nazarene website run by our colleagues at the Church of the Nazarene out in Kansas City. So when you go to this is a planning tool they've built, and then we've built into the ARDA.com. But it's called the Community Profile Builder, and you find it under Congregational Resources.
Terrific. I love your self-proclaimed title of Data Evangelist, Art. Along that note, what are your hopes for this tool? How do you hope this will improve civic life?
Well, we know that congregations and community groups would benefit from better data about the areas they mean to serve. Now, there are some excellent tools out there if you live in certain places. If you live in the 9-county metro area of Indianapolis, for instance, SAVI, S-A-V-I, is a combination of databases run by the United Way and the Polis Center at IUPUI. That's extremely good. But for lots of people, lots of places, there's just not a good organized way to find this kind of information quite so easily, or else you have to pay money for it. So what we're trying to do is build information sources that will help people make better decisions about who their neighbors are and what sorts of things their neighbors might need from them. Now, you know, I think of communities as ecologies. They have congregations, they have religious service groups, they have secular or state-run service groups, they have actual government programs, they have police and sheriffs, they have businesses. These things fit together. Some of those people get better data than others, and we always say we're trying to democratize data. In this case, we're trying to help congregations use the same sort of data that other people are running on.
Terrific. And to underscore something you said, this detailed demographic information is absolutely free. Is that right?
It is 100%. Well, I always say it costs a lot of money, but somebody else is paid for it.
That's
So
exactly right.
Lilly Endowment and the John Templeton Foundation, and then the schools. The founding director is at Penn State. The associate director is at Chapman out in California. And my colleague Andrew Whitehead at IUPUI is now the third director. Those schools all contribute something to this as well, but it is 100% free to end users. Now, if you want to get the newsletter, we're going to have your email address, but otherwise, you don't even have to register to use it. It is not even some things that say they're free, it turns out the product is really you. And data about you, we don't know where you are, we don't know who you are, and we don't collect data about you. We just put information out there. And somebody else wants that information out there enough that they're willing to pay us to do it.
What a gift. Thank you for clarifying, Art. And you have an initiative right now for which you are seeking pastors, nonprofit executives, and civic leaders across Indiana to receive some training in these demographic tools. Tell us about that opportunity that is before us.
Glad to. ARDA is just now moving to Indianapolis. Part of that move is we've decided we want to try to understand better how people other than researchers are using the tools on ARDA. We're pretty clear about how researchers are using it, and they use it all the time. I mean, there are thousands of data sets on there. But the average person is not thinking, how can I get the data from the General Social Survey in 2008? I mean, and they wouldn't know how to go find, I mean, you could find it on our website, no problem, but they wouldn't know what to do when they have it. So we're trying to find out how other end users actually use the data, and we figured we can go around and show it to them, and we were doing that. And in fact, I've done it many times for the Wabash Pastoral Leadership Program. But this time, we're developing three seminars of 4 meetings each. So over the course of 2 years, we're asking people in the seminars to come once every 6 months. We'll give them small assignments where we ask them to look for something, or we ask them to build a small report on something, and then come tell us how they use the tools to do that, so we can find out what works for them, what doesn't work for them, what things they're finding useful, whether they're having any difficulty understanding the information as it's provided. That's the sort of thing we're trying to do. So starting this October, we will have a cohort of 8 to 10 faith-based nonprofit leaders. Starting in April of 2022, we'll have a cohort of pastors. Starting in October of 2022, we'll have a cohort of civic officials. And what we want to do is bring them in, us see them using the website. We talk about what the data means and how it might be beneficial to them. And then that will help us develop better training and programs in the future. Now, the great news is this is going to be a significant commitment of time. People will have to come for 4 4-hour seminars. So it's going to pay $500 per seminar or $2,000 overall, because we're not just looking for volunteers here. We're looking for partners to help us understand how these tools we're spending money and time on are being used. Just really getting going right now. But if anybody wants to contact me about it, they can find my email address on the ARDA website, www.thearda.com. And I mean, it's no secret. It's AFARNSLE at iupui.edu. It's afarnsel at iupui.edu. People should write me with questions. If right now I'm looking for nonprofit leaders, if they know such a person, they should tell me about that person or tell that person about me, because we've never done this before. We've never done this as a seminar. It's not so very different from what the WPLP does anyhow, but this is really about us finding out from new partners how they're using it so we can make it more effective for them.
Art, the pastors in the Wabash Pastoral Leadership Program and I are so grateful for partners and scholars like you to support us in our work of tending to Indiana communities. So thank you. And a link to all of the sites that Art has referenced will be placed in the comments below. Thank you.
Thank you, Libby.